This is the story of a man who fought a battle of life and death for more than 400 days in the world's largest and most ruthless ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and created a world record. He returned alive after 14 months. But what happened as soon as he returned that he was sent to jail? I had to go. Let's know the whole story in this video. Pacific Ocean. See, there is 71% of water in the whole world, which is divided in 4 oceans whose names are Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic, the biggest ocean. The Pacific is so big that the land area, which is 165 million square kilometers, this ocean alone can cover 148 million square kilometers. There are only a few islands in this ocean which are very small, and some of these islands are such that there are no people living on them today. Till now, no human could go there. Now, if by mistake any human gets lost in the Pacific Ocean, then it is almost impossible to find him. The name of the person who survived for 14 months in the Pacific Ocean was Josh Salvador Alvarenga. This person had a 7 feet tall body. There was a seaboat on which I lay straight could not go, and this man remained alive on this boat for more than a year, also faced the cruelty of the sea, and also made a world record which no other person has been able to break till date. Josh was only compelled by his fate that he could not go on this boat. Josh got into trouble in 2012. There was a 36-year-old experienced fisherman who lived in Costa Azul, a village in Mexico. On 17th November 2012, Josh and his friend went out for fishing like every day in their 7-foot-long boat. They could not go far on this seaboat to catch fish because the boat was very small and had only 1 engine and 1 refrigerator, so they could catch only a few fishes here. Both of them decided to return in 30 hours and set out. They were spreading their net in the sea 120 kilometers away from the coast of Mexico, when suddenly they saw a dangerous sea storm coming towards them. To save time, they left the net there and drove the boat at full speed continuously. For hours, he stayed just by the shore. They were only 20 kilometers away when the boat's engine suddenly broke down. They could see the shore as well as their village. The storm had left them far behind. They had a radio through which they sent their location to their boss and started waiting for a reply. It seemed that his luck was so bad that the radio's battery also died. On one side, he was looking at the shore, and on the other side, he was looking at the storm coming towards him, which was coming with such intensity that it seemed that he would get out of there alive. The intensity of the winds along with the storm was so strong that their boat started moving away from the shore, and in a short while the shore also disappeared from view, and strong waves started pulling them to the other side. By the time the message reached their boss, it was too late. The boss sent a search party to find them. But with every passing moment, Josh's boat was going farther and farther away because of the storm. These people were neither able to see anything nor understand where they were and which way was the shore. The surprising thing is that in just 5 days, their boat had reached 450 kilometers away from the shore. Due to the small size of the boat, it was even more difficult to find them. What was happening was that neither did they have a flare gun, nor did they have anything to light a fire so that they could signal someone with the smoke. Both of them looked at each other and started thinking that perhaps it would be difficult to survive for 2 days. The food had already finished, and they did not have any equipment to catch fish as they had already left their nets. Both of them were very hungry when suddenly a bird comes and sits on their boat. Both of them look at each other and immediately attack the bird but are unable to catch it. Both knew that the bird might come back again. In a short while, another bird comes, and this time both of them try to catch it in many ways. They make a plan to kill the boatman, and finally they succeed, and in this way both of them survive by eating the birds that come to the boat to satiate their hunger. Drinking salty seawater can kill a person, so they drink rainwater to make water for themselves. He started storing water in a plastic bottle and kept it alive by drinking it. But when it did not rain, he would start drinking water from fish to quench his thirst. And they used to drink the blood of turtles, but that too only when they were successful in catching them. Days passed and then months passed. The mental torture that these two were going through is very, very difficult for us to even imagine after all. This torture was a companion of Josh. He could not bear it, and after 4 months he committed suicide, and now only Josh was alone on the boat and there was water all around him. Seeing this, he did not see any hope of life left, but being fed up with his condition, he died. Somehow I started living my life. If we look at the maps, then according to an estimate, the house was present in this part of the Pacific Ocean, which is considered to be the quietest part of the world because only cargo ships pass through here. Leaving the coast of Mexico, the Hauskeima was deserted for 6 months. The number of deaths had increased, and during this time, Josh had also lost his partner. Due to this, he had become very frustrated. One day, Josh sees a cargo ship in the sea. This is the first ship he has seen in the last 6 months, and on seeing this scene, the hope of survival returned in him again, and Josh took over the car. He tried to point towards the ship in every possible way, but unfortunately, the ship was so far away that it could not see Josh, and soon the ship started disappearing from Josh's sight, and he started thinking that maybe death was in his fate. It is written, friends, just imagine that for 6 months you are stuck in such a place where you cannot see any other person, and if after a long time you see someone but she is unable to see you and passes away, then how would you feel after 11 months? After that, Voyage had traveled 8,000 kilometers on his small boat. His clothes were torn, and he was left with only an undershirt to protect himself from sunlight. Finally, the moment came when luck smiled on Josh. Finally, 4:39. A day later, on 30 January 2014, he saw coconuts floating around him and some birds were also hovering around. Seeing this, he understood that there must be an island nearby. Then he saw an island far away. To reach that island, he had to walk close to the shore. It took half a day as soon as the boat. When he reached near that island, he jumped from the boat and started swimming towards the island, and finally, after spending months, he reached solid land. Actually, this island is called Ibentoni, which is the smallest island in the world. It is a miracle of God. It was just that the direction of the wind turned his boat in such a way that his boat took him towards a small island. If by mistake he would not have been able to reach this island, or if the direction of the wind had changed a little from one side to the other, then that island he would never have been able to reach there. And if he had survived, he would have probably seen the Philippines Islands 5,000 kilometers away. But Josh was lucky that he reached Ipon and Tony Islands. It proved to be a boon for him, as if he had not been saved from death. It seems he got a new life after coming out of his mouth. After surveying the area a little, he saw a house. After some time, a man came out of that house. After spending about 14 months in the sea, he saw a living human for the first time. Seeing this, tears came to his eyes. After knowing his story, the local police reached there. Josh told his entire journey to the police. He told his bosses, but no one believed him. How could someone survive in a small boat for 438 days, that too without eating and seeing a dead body? He called his boss to prove his point. The boss of the person who used to send him for fishing also confirmed that Josh used to work for me, and he was lost in the sea a year ago now because he had reached another country, and that too without visa. So after a few days of legal proceedings, he was sent back to Mexico, but the journey was not over yet. The family of his friend who had died halfway filed a case in the name of Josh, saying that Josh must have killed and eaten his friend. After a few days of legal proceedings, Josh was released. A few days after that, he published a book, 438 Days, in which he had written his entire story. He had unknowingly changed his life. While saving everyone, he made such a world record that no one would even dare to break it. Josh's story inspires us in such a way that life, no matter how many problems come, there is definitely a solution to every problem. Thank you for watching the video till the end. See you with the next video.